The House of Representatives passed a bill this afternoon to overturn a 20-year ban on mining near the Boundary Waters. The resolution, introduced by Minnesota Representative Pete Stauber, opens the door for mining in the watershed that flows into the BWCA. And it matters to a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. Here's Ian.
Even hundreds of miles away,
we're watching the floor right now to see when the vote on this is coming up.
Chris Knopp with the Friends of the Boundary Waters.
So we're kind of watching it minute by minute here.
Can't keep his eyes off Washington, D.C. Wednesday.
I think the weight of public opinion is also on the side of protecting the Boundary Waters.
The Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness stretches more than 1 million acres across northeastern Minnesota, connecting with Voyageurs National Park and across the border into Canada. But Knopp's focus stems from what's just outside the BWCA and the potential changes on the way.
In 2023, protections were put in place on 225,000 acres of public federal land adjacent to the Boundary Waters.
The Biden administration banned mining in that 250,000 acres 3 years ago. The land underneath is mineral rich with some of the largest deposits in the world.
Clerk will report the title of the joint resolution.
Representative Pete Stauber introduced a resolution to overturn that Biden-era ban, which was debated on the House floor Wednesday.
To reverse Public Land Order 7917, which enacted the Biden administration's dangerous mining ban in northern Minnesota.
A key focus is the Twin Metals Minnesota site, a subsidiary of Chilean mining giant Antofagasta. Stauber says overturning this ban would not greenlight any projects, but it would allow them to at least be considered.
This ban disregarded the science. It disregarded the facts. Lifting this ban will simply allow the science and the facts to prevail.
Representative Betty McCollum spoke against this, saying the runoff from any mine in this area will pollute the Boundary Waters.
Toxic sulfide or copper mining will contaminate the water, the habitat, and this priceless wilderness.
Environmental advocates say that runoff puts not just the BWCA, but Voyageurs and into Canada at risk as well.
When put all together, over 4.4 million acre continuous freshwater boreal ecosystem. It really does just fundamentally make immediately upstream of the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness the absolute wrong place for this industry.
Stauber argues that land order made us more dependent on foreign nations, and overturning it would create jobs.
The Iron Range and building and construction trades all support this project. Good union jobs.
But environmental advocates like Knopp say there has to be another way.
What we need to do is have homegrown jobs here where we grow small businesses and support small businesses, not give a handout to a big Chilean company.
Now, that resolution passed out of the House and it now heads to the Senate. If it passes out of the Senate, it would head to President Trump to sign into law. Jenna.
Ian, it sounds like things may have been done a little differently with the way that Representative Stauber went about this?
Yeah, so talking with some environmental advocates, they say this was done under the Congressional Review Act, which allows Congress to review and then overturn rules from federal agencies. And those environmental advocates say there hasn't really been a precedent to use this for public land orders like we're seeing with this one before this.
But, fair point by Representative Stauber. This is just allowing them to explore ideas, because it is true that for decades they've been asking for ways to get their jobs back.
Yeah,
we don't really know that down here in the Twin Cities the way it's felt up there.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a huge talking point of his, is to say, this is not specifically for that Twin Metals Minnesota site that we've been talking about. This is to allow the door to be open to consider sites like that. Really just, as he talked about it, looking at science, looking at a couple different things to be able to have those conversations.
Understood. Thanks so much, Ian.